Now's the time we'll call our own, living free in harmony and majesty. Take me home, take me home.
Good day and welcome back to the homestead. Get a little bit of a weather change. You can see right here, this is the mountain spring up above here in the gulch. Over here's the cistern that we capture that water in. Right now it's flowing like a creek. We're flowing a lot more than that. You can see it's cutting into the embankment here, going down from up above, going down the rest of the gulch. So come on, lady, come on. Poseidon, come on. I decided to come up here, take a look. I came up here yesterday. You can see that the water was flowing over the top of all this, but in the last 24 hours, the weather says we've gotten almost 2 inches of rain. And all that rain, once the ground gets saturated, has to go somewhere. It's going through, you can see down in the gulch down here, you can see it's cutting into the sides. We had a lot of issues with access to the property. You know, when you're modifying things, man-made modifications, you know, with water. Water is one of the most powerful substances in the world. We create lots of electricity with it. But when you try to stop water or redirect water, water a lot of times has its own ideas of what it's going to do. And if it naturally ran through an area, if it's not engineered properly or strong enough, the water is gonna win. You can see right here, right where I am now, the path here that goes up to the cistern and the mountain spring. You can see the water coming out of the ground here, and the ground's saturated. Today I thought we'd take a little stroll with Lady and Poseidon. Poe is with Tammy. I thought we'd take a little stroll and see what we could see. I spent the last few days trying to combat the water and what it was trying to do. Oh. Especially if you're trying to contain it. You gotta get to the other side of this trail, because with the ground, you can see right here where my foot slipped. So this isn't stable, and I'm sliding here. Walk down the side, and you can kind of see behind me the trench the water cut in this road, and how the water's flowing down it. Some of these gulches that are usually dry come to life when there's water involved. This morning we actually woke up and there was snow on the ground. So we went from 50, 60, 70 degree weather to the weather dropped last year in the March time frame. We ended up getting a lot of snow day on day out, day in and day out. But here's this gulch here is usually dry, but you can see the water's running through here. It was running down this path we had and trying to dig ruts. So yesterday I came up and I redirected it off the side to go down into this gulch here. And historically that's what it did. It ran through this gulch right here and straight in to this other gulch. I just wanted to historically go back to what it naturally did, but it couldn't, so it was running down the trail. So I dug some of these swales or trenches in here, redirected it off the side. I had to do it several times to capture all the water. There's another one here. But it's still, even though that water that's coming down that hill is redirected, and the water in that gulch is redirected, you can see right here, oh, it's flowing again, coming out of the ground. So, especially this time of year, there's no shortage of quote-unquote brown water. Down at the mill site, I directed the water up there, and here it is again. Directed it flowing off the side. What happens is if it comes straight down the road, it builds momentum and it will dig trenches. You can see some of those. I noticed that yesterday, but you can see some of them right here. Most of the rain happens at night. And yesterday, the trench and the drainage that I put in here that normally went underneath the mill and through the chicken coop, duck coop, turkey coop, is now going on underneath this rock right here, and it's flowing off the edge here. Once this ground firms up, I gotta go get that pipe. So the water actually pushed that pipe off the end, but the water's draining off the end here, and it's no longer going down under the mill. I'll show you this up here. Lady, come on, leave the ducks alone. Oh, this is something I gotta work on right here. Best time to really check on any type of property or a home is when it rains, and you get to find out what the water really does. But here, you can see right here, there's another gulch up here, and this is flowing. It flows down in here, and we got two 4-inch culverts, which really aren't probably big enough, but they're big enough for what we were trying to do. And they go underneath the road, the water collects over here, and then it goes underneath the road, comes out into here. Water. This is water for the ducks for the summer, and then there's an overflow there. But let me show you this right here. So we're not able to. I got to work on this. I got to fix this so that the water over here will drain out the end instead of coming. It's overflowing. I'm cutting a rut in the driveway, and it's flooding this area right here. All this water, you got the water that's coming down that gulch, and then so there'll be coming episodes as we deal with this. You can see all the water here. Right here we got our electrical stuff that's in a trench, and it comes up there, and it goes down again, and it comes over here to the timber frame site, We're going to work on that some more. Today, though, the sun, absolutely beautiful, beautiful weather. Makes you think, the story of Noah's Ark and when the sun finally came out, how they must have felt. But here you can see the water's flowing down. So I'm gonna have to do something about this. And then we gotta grade around where the timber frame is. Here. You see the water flowing? There isn't a shortage of water, that's for sure. And yesterday, again, right here, I redirected some of the water to go that way. Because if I didn't direct it to go that way, it was going down that way. And this rain actually did a lot of damage, especially to the access road. There's places that naturally or historically where the water crossed over. See, the water's going down. It comes down the road right here. See the ruts as it comes down. It's cutting ruts. Whoop. And it's coming. You can't get the skid steer up here now. Not with this soil like this. It won't. The soil will give out before the skid steer will come up. It will slip. So we go all the way back to the ridge line back there. So all this water is coming down this valley, gulch, and it's working its way down to the creek. You have water flowing here. So this is one of the things that I'm gonna work on. I don't want to, basically, if you're trying to remove the water from a build site, it's almost too late. You need to get it before it gets there. So we need to fix these swales so it continues on out the end down there and then it crosses across. So the water, when it comes down the embankment, goes out the side and drains into the creek so that the water isn't coming down and running into our builds. All this water, you see it right here, all this water is weeping out of the hill, going in this swale. So we also have, we can send that water in two directions. We can send it that way and we can send it down this way. Historically, when the timber companies were here, you can see this swale in here. This is like a timber road. They had diverted all this water, but over the years it's either filled in or you can hear the water. It's draining into a, sounds like there might even be a culvert over here. But right back there, it's washing across the road. And down here, it's coming out of the ground. Well, there's something about that. It sounds like it's coming out of the ground right there. But just this little area. We've got all this water washing down. And then it has to go somewhere. But what it was doing is trying to wash straight down and through. And it wasn't going across where the camper and stuff is. It was going down to the right side of that blue Connex box. Basically you had a river that was coming down the mountain, washing across into that fence area, through the ducks, the fowl, washing through there, and it was actually almost a river. So Tammy and I came up here yesterday and we re-diverted it that way, so at least most of it didn't go that way. What this will do is it will cut a trench. It's already started cutting a trench over here. Lady, come on. Oh, we haven't been up over here. It's actually some exciting, I wouldn't say it's good, but there were some exciting things that happened. I'm going to dress up the side of this. And we have our cornice break, so I'm working to get some sheet metal at a good price, because we need to. I'm going to flash the edge of that with a drip edge on it, and that build will actually have 2-foot eaves over it. You go down there, you can actually see where there's areas where the water historically ran, and there's actually a gulch or a crevice there. Anybody wonders what this was used back when it was illegal, they had a grow out here, and they used to store it or put it in there or dry it in a container there. That container, I moved that over here. Out in the boonies and areas where the weather is favorable, historically they would grow herbs and then sell it, and then they made it legal, and it's no longer profitable to do that. Oh, we got water draining out here. I was storing all the skid steer attachments right here, but when the ground gets too wet, I was finding I couldn't get up here to get them. But there's a another gulch, fairly large gulch on this side. There's several of them. When we were looking at places to live, the aerial views of the property, if you look at this, were to look at this property from up above totally, there's several areas, and you can see it in the photos where you got these gulches and they all converge into one area, and then they dump into the creek, and you can always tell they were green. So that was meaning that there was water, and all that water converges to basically one spot. Come on, lady. And some of the exploring we've done, we've gone up You can kind of see them, especially in the winter months when the deciduous, I guess that's how you would say it, but the oaks, these trees here, drop their leaves, and the scrub brush and stuff like that lose their leaves. You can see it easier. There's one right here. You can kind of see it right here. But you can see off to this side is like a mound, and then you see in the middle there's like a flat area. That's a logging road. There's one here, and there's another one down over here. You look up, you can see them. Tammy and I have traveled some of them. This isn't really the time. It's kind of funny. Lady, leave the ducks alone. You can see the historic logging trails. Here's another one. You can see, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here you can see there's like a compacted track, and right here there's a compacted track, and it goes up and through, and every once in a while you find one of these cables that they use to sling around the logs, and they'll use like what they call a high wheel or something similar to it, and pick up the front end of the log and they drag them out. Yeah, what we want to do is, we don't want all this water running down like an area like this into our solar panels. So one of the big things of living off-grid or in the wilderness is you have to establish and maintain what you've done. So I mean, so if you have a trail or a road, you have to do preventative things and maintenance to those types of things. If not, nature will eventually take over. You know, so if you cut a swale or a ditch in the side of the road to divert the water to one side, you got to maintain that, because sticks and leaves and branches, all kinds of stuff will go into those ditches and block it, or at least slow the water down, and then the water will back up. The water has to go somewhere. Oops. Well, I mean, like this. So we put two, and they're not big enough, two 4-inch culverts in the ground. They're about 3 feet down, and they empty in here. But as you can see, there's more water flowing than those culverts can handle. Well, we learned I gotta add at least another overflow to this. I'm not gonna divert that over across the garden, so we'll probably put some swales in there. You can see when the water was really flowing, right? A little trench here, the water was flowing over the top. And all this water comes down the mountain. There's some of it, and I got some of it over here, I got some of it over there, we got some of it down in the gulch over here. And you can kind of see everything's mounded up to keep it on this side so it doesn't wash through. Where I got the camper and the Conex boxes. The water comes down over here right now, and it was going over here. And this year I moved it over here and it's cut my courthouse. But it going off the end over here. We cleared all this to expand the garden. What is coming over here? And it's washing down onto our clearing down below here. One thing I'll show you that's kind of interesting. It's funny, this water, some of the water that's in that catchment up there, I got a siphon over here, and the water comes out right here, right? And you can see it's washing down, and it kind of disappears down here, goes into the ground. You can see right here you can see the water comes down, some of it comes over this way, and then it disappears under the ground right there. The water that's on this side is washing down until it finally disappears. Well, one of the things that we had to maintain during the rain, actually you should maintain it before you have an issue. So this is where all that spring water that's coming down that goes in our cistern comes down. There's a culvert right here, and it goes under the road, continues on down to the spring, and then the water that comes down our driveway, I got it diverted off to the side here, and then you have this, I guess it's a swale or a ditch on the side of the access road, and that goes in there too. But when you got all these hillsides and the water's coming down, you can see right here, right? The water was too much, or the culvert got blocked a little bit and started washing across the road here. You can see it down here where it pushed all the debris and it's cutting ruts in the road. And what would happen is if I didn't get that culvert cleared out, it would have continued on. It would have cut a trench over here. It already started. Some of the gravel washed it out. So we gotta take care of that culvert and assess the situation. So you see the water and the water saturation. Down the road. This is a pretty good example of what I've been kind of talking about. So there was a ditch on the side of the road here that needs to get cleared out. So it's filled with leaves and debris and silt and dirt. So it's diverted itself and it's running down the access road. Right? It does several things. One, you can see here the dirt is kind of mounded up and it's soft. So when you drive a heavy vehicle across it, it like squishes the dirt out. And as it's coming down the road, it might be hard to see in the camera, but you can see the stones are all cleaned off. All the fine particles are being washed out. So what's going to happen is it's coming down this road and this hill, it builds up momentum, and then it starts cutting trenches in the road. What kind of caused some of this? On the side of the road here, you can see all this debris that's in the ditch, but you can also see tire tracks where people have driven through the ditch. I don't, either it was a trailer or a vehicle, whatever it is, and they drive in there and then they destroy the ditch. The next thing you can see here, I mean, in a matter of what, 30 feet? So there's a ditch over here to divert the water off to the side, and then you can see right here the tire track, somebody drove in it, and because of the water in the trench, the soil is a lot of silt and it's kind of mushy, so they squish it and compact it and destroy it, and then the water right here, the trench is gone. You can see it's crushed. It was over here, okay? And now the water is coming down the road instead of staying in the trench. And back over here, you can see where it goes off the side. Right here, it's digging a trench. Over here, it's diverted itself back off the road and into the trench, because there's a little bit of crown in the road. These unmaintained dirt roads should have a crown in the middle. And then you should have swales, culverts on the side, so as it rains, you want the water to wash off the road and into the trenches that you've put on the side of the road, so you can divert it and clear it off. You don't want the water running straight down the road. If the water is running straight down the road, it's gonna cut a trench and destroy the road. And over here, those tire tracks over here, people driving in the trenches. So this is an example of a bad culvert and a swale. Yesterday, Tammy and I came down here, and you can see all this silted, and then you get this culvert right there. It's probably about an 8 or a 10-inch culvert going underneath, but it's silting in. And why is it silting in? It's because this trench was dug on the side of the road, and it's fairly deep over there, but it flows uphill, right? And then it gets shallower. And what's gonna happen is this will, well, it silted in down there, so the water couldn't get through. Right? You can see over here the water was washing across the road, and then over here it chokes down because the ground got waterlogged and it slid down in there, and it slid down in here, so you get a choking point. And right here you can see the water's kind of murky, but over here it's clear, so it's dropping the sediment as it's flowing. And then again, you can see right here, it was overflowing the road and washing off. You possibly could fix this, but you'd have to put a culvert on an angle and have it drain off to the side here. But it was all washing across the road. There was a culvert here that was smashed, and this was all blocked. You had a lot of water coming down the gulch, and then water coming down the road in the different areas. And you can see this is all silted in. And of course, the silt across the road. Goes out that side. You can see this is all underwater. Extreme cases. So here we have a culvert down below. And then we have this dam, I guess you call it. And there was a log jam up above it. And washed all this out. And the water wasn't able to go through the culvert fast enough and through these two overflow pipes, and the water washed across the top of the road, and it eroded out the back, behind the backs of these blocks. I don't know how much these blocks weigh. I'm asking you, they're thousands of pounds. Washed over the top of this gravel and then came down behind the concrete blocks. You can see right here, and then eroded behind the blocks, and then the water started coming out between the blocks, and the pressure just pushed them over. When you're living off-grid, you have to maintain your drainage system. If not, the water pressure, water will try to return back to its natural course. And here, that's what it's doing. Starting back in the 1850s, they were mining for gold out here, and that eventually turned into hydraulic mining, which means they used water and water pressure to clear hillsides, and then they ran it through a slough to separate the gold out. But you can see that water really is no joke. It's not if the water will win, it's when. And the systems you put in place, you are going to have to maintain them. They don't maintain themselves. Eventually, the water will claim a more natural path. The shadow here. The lamb's it's better than a dog in a way. I don't think it's going to fetch a ball.
I could probably teach him.
Teach him to fetch a ball. Yeah, I might be able to teach him to fetch a ball. But, yeah, he's not going to, I don't think he'll protect your property.
No.
He'll follow you. Just like a dog, not even on a leash. Look at it. You can walk down the city street.
Yeah.
You know, with dogs, they find something The nose takes over and they're gone.
Yeah, but if it's well trained, they won't do that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm being controlled.
Or if there's another dog. It's our episode on water and the power of water.
And destruction.
And destruction.
You
Water
can't- you
can
can't-
water can be very useful. You can generate electricity with it.
It's hard to stop water.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Well,
Once it
eventually-
goes, it goes. It's not like fire.
We saw the dam actually come apart.
That was weird.
The water was coming over the top, and eventually what it did is it eroded the road going
We
across
didn't
the
get
top,
video of it.
and then it started eating the gravel out from behind it, and the water was actually spraying out of the dam like a fire hose. And then Poe,
Uh-oh.
he's going for a walk, and the water pressure built up enough behind those giant concrete stones that were interlocked, and eventually it just pushed them over. So anywhere you have water, if you don't keep it contained or controlled, it's gonna do its own thing. It's kind of like a bad kid.
Or a husband that thinks he's bad kid.
If you're not having your best day,
You better have your best day.
just change your outlook.
Think positive. Always think positive. Even when we have something going bad, we have something that we did and we have to fix it. It's like, oh well, we learned our lesson. We gotta fix it.
Well, the thing is, though, is this: what's the difference between? Well, that's called.
You have to-
I guess
you
it's
just
called
don't-
stupid.
You just don't, yeah.
Yeah,
You just don't give anything.
If you keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and think that you're going to get a different outcome. Sorry, if you think you have a different outcome, that's just called stupid.
Or you live in utopia.
That's
Just
called.
don't give anything negative energy.
That's
You'll be
called
fine.
stupid.
Positive energy all the time, even if it goes wrong.
If something goes wrong, there's always something positive in it.
Yeah, you learned your lesson because you think now you know you're
You
stupid.
can take the lessons learned and apply them elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's when you don't learn something that
That's why when you get older, you're wiser because you learned everything.
yeah,
So you made all the mistakes and learned from it.
it isn't age. It's the
No.
amount of time you spend
Screwing up.
and the experiences you have. How do you
Yeah, right.
how do you learn the most? You screw it up.
Yep. Remember, we used to do that. I remember doing that when we did this, so I'll probably do it this way instead. We tell people, like, okay,
Well,
do it this
even
way.
with this, we have issues. Yeah, and then there's another such thing as having an issue and having a problem.
Look at this. Dogs don't follow me, but my little lamb does.
Yeah, more loyal.
Tammy had a little lamb.
If you're not having your best day, it's all about attitude. Look for what's good in things. Don't dwell on what's bad. And God bless.